All right, so we want to look at, let's go to the part two. We're still looking at quartile deviation. We're still looking at quartile deviation. So we want to consider a table. We're going to consider a table um, right now. So we have this table of the class interval. We have class interval, and then we have the frequency. The first is 0 to 10. The second is 11 to 20. The next is 21 to 30. The next is 31 to 40. And 41 to 50. We have 51 to 60. And then we have 61 to 70. That's what we have. Then we have 5, 8, 10, 5, 8, 10, 12. 8 for the frequency, 5, and then 2. Remember, we can decide to craft out the cumulative frequency. Let me call it CF. Let's call it CF. So if you look up how to obtain the cumulative frequency like we did in the previous, we would, the first part, the first cumulative frequency will remain what? 5. Did you get that? And so the second cumulative frequency will be 5 plus 8 in that, so that will be 5 plus 8, which will give you, that will give you 13. That's the second cumulative frequency. Then the next one is going to be what? 13 plus 10, which will give you 23. So the next will be what? 23 plus 12, which will give you 40, 30, 30, what? 35. Yes, the next will be what? 35 plus 8, which will give you what? This is 3, 43. Then the next is going to be 43 plus 5, which will give you what? 48. Then the next is 48 plus 2, which will give you what? 50. 50. So but then if you add this, let's add this together. So let's add this, all this together. So this is this and this is already 20. This is 30. This is 35. 35 and this is 40. And 40, we have this 10 and this 50. You get that? So the sum total of the frequency should actually give you what you have at the last part of the cumulative frequency. Do you understand? So that's a way to check if you are correct. That's a way to check. So if you add all this, you get the frequency, the value, the total frequency, and then what the last part of the cumulative frequency. So now we want to get the quartile deviation. Let's get the quartile deviation. Remember the formula for the lower quartile? The lower quartile, which we have as a 0.25 n. I hope you remember that. 0.25 n. 0.25 n, which is also what? 25%. 25% n. So the first part there, 0.25 n. So what are we supposed to do for the first part, the first quartile? What are we supposed to do? What is the value of n there? 50, the number here is the 50. Yeah, so that's going to 0.25 and 50. So 0.25 times 50. What is supposed to be the value? Imagine 12.5. 12.5. So let's take the what? The median quartile. The median quartile, which is what? 0.50 n, or we have it as what? 50% n. Did you get that? So we have a what? 0.50 50. What is it going to give us? That would be what? 25. Half of 50. So 0.5 is actually what? 1 over 2. Do you get? So if you multiply 0.5 times 50, you will get what? 25. 25. So remember, 25. So let's take the last one. The last one is the what? The upper quartile. That's so the upper quartile, which is actually what? 0.75 n, or you say what? 75% n. 75% n. 75% n. So what you have is going to be what? 0.7550. 0.7550. So if you multiply 0.75 times 50, what you are going to get is what? 37.5. 37.5. So take note, we have gotten the lower quartile, the median quartile, and the upper quartile. I've gotten a value for, we have gotten the units, the 12.5 for the lower quartile, the median quartile to be 25, and then the upper quartile to be what? 37.5. 37.5. So the next thing we are supposed to do now is to obtain the values of the quartiles, the value we are going to calculate to get the actual quartile. So I'm taking that everything from the board. So remember what we had as the values. So the first thing we are supposed to do is to obtain the QI. QI. What is QI there? How do we obtain the QI? And what's the QI? What does it stand for? You said. Yes, the quartile units. Yes. So is that what you have there? Okay, so let's push on. Let us push on. And so how did we obtain it in the previous class? In the previous class, how did we obtain it? Yes. So the lower quartile. So at the first instance, what did you get? The first instance, what did you get? You have it on your note there now. So the QI is the what? 22.5 minus 18. So for the first one there, you had the lower quartile. Because you are dealing with you want to get the value of the lower quartile. Now the value, this is the lower quartile. I want to get the value. But then let's look for QI now. So it's going to be what? 12.5 minus what? From your table, from the table, what's the first frequency on the table there? 5. Minus 5. So let's get that out. So this is 12.5 minus 5. So this is 5. And then this is 7. So we have a 7.5. 7.5. So the first one we have 7.5 for the value of the QI in that. So for us to get Q1, which stands for the value of the first quartile, we have L in that plus in brackets QI times the units divided by the frequency. Look up, divided by the frequency. That's what we have there. So F stands for the frequency, and then the units. The units, you actually obtain the units from the units by the value on the table, by the class interval on the table. The first class interval to the last class interval, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did you get that? They said from 0, you count here, so from 0 to 10. The other one is from 11 to 20, from 11 to 20. So is that not how we have it there? From 11 to 20, we count 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the second one is 10. For the first one, you have, you say from 0 to 20. From 0 to 10. That's how the first one is 11. Did you get that now? So you see, that is the difference we have in this case. So for the first quarter, you have for Q1, the unit is 11. So we've gotten the value for Q1. What's the frequency? What's the frequency from the table? The frequency, and the frequency is 5. So what we need to do now is to impute the value. Remember, what is the value of L from the table? What's the value of L from the table? For the first one, from the table, from this table, from the table, 10. From the table, so value of L is equal to what? 10. All right, so Q1 is equal to what? 10 plus the value of Qi there is what? 7.5 times what? The unit 11 divided by, what's the frequency? 5. Okay, so go ahead and then divide 7.5 divided by 5. 7.5 divided by 5. 0.5 divided by 5. We should get it straight. It's 1.5. So this is 10 plus 1.5 times 11. Are you watching? So let's get 1.5 times 11. 1.5 times 11. 1.5 times 11 gives you 16.5. So you have 10 plus 16.5. So if you look at it together, if you add this together, and this is 26.5, which is approximately what? 27 units. So that's what you get for the value of the lower quartile. The value of the lower quartile. The value of the lower quartile. That is exactly what you get for the value of the lower quartile. So we will be looking at obtaining the value of the median quartile. We want to obtain the value of the median quartile. I think you should first pay attention so that you can get it. So Q1 for the median quartile. The median quartile, what did we get for the median quartile? What's the value for the median quartile? The value for the median quartile. The value for the median quartile. What did we get when we calculated the median quartile? We had 0.5 times 50, and that gave us what? 25. That gave us 25. 25 minus, what's the next value on the table that we should be subtracting with from the frequency? 8 minus 8 is equal to what? So we have 25. What do we get there? If you have 25 minus 8 is what? 17. 17. Good. So for the units, let's look for the units. What's the unit there? For the second part, the second value on the class interval. We got it already. If you count from 11 to 20, is 10. The unit is 10. So what is the frequency? What is the frequency? F. What's the frequency? What's the frequency? The frequency is 8. All right. So then what is the value of L? What's the value of L? 20 for the second. But the value of L is 20. Awesome. Exactly. So 20. So let's plug in the values. Let's plug in the values into the equation. So which is what? Q2. Remember we are looking for the median. Q2 L plus what? QI times the units divided by the frequency. So if we go on, we have the value of L. We have the value of L. We have 20 plus, what did we get as Q1? What did we get as Q1? What did you get as Q1? Stop writing. Just pay attention. You will write. 17. 17 times the unit. What's the unit? So divided by the frequency. The frequency is what? What's the frequency here? What's the frequency? So let us divide this. Let's do 17 divided by 8. 17 divided by 8 for us to be able to get that value. 17 divided by 8. I think you should stop writing first. Just pay attention so that you can get it. So 20 plus 2.125 times 10. So you put this in brackets. So you have 20 plus. So if you multiply that by 10, if you multiply 2.125 times 10, what you get is 21.25. So if you add the both of them, now you are having a what? 41.25, which is approximately what? If you get it now, this is 41. That's just 41. It's 41. That's 41. So quickly take that down so that we can do the upper quartile. Quickly take that down so we can take the upper quartile. Take that down. Let's take the upper quartile. So the upper quartile, we are going to apply the same formula. We are applying the same formula to be able to get that sorted out. It is just for us to get the right values in. Once you get the right values in, then you are on the right, absolutely on the right path. So all right, so let's go ahead now to get the value of the upper quartile. Let's get the value of the upper quartile. So I think you should give attention first. So when you get the value of the upper quartile, so let's quickly take care of Q1 first. So what do we have for Q1? What did we get as the upper quartile when we calculated? What did you calculate to get the upper quartile? The upper quartile, we got 37.5. 37.5. So we are subtracting it from the next value on the frequency table. What's the next value on the frequency table? The next value on the frequency table from what we had there, the next value on the frequency is 10 minus 10. So what do we have there? 37.5 minus 10 is going to give us what? 27.5. 27.5. So what is the units? What's the units? The unit is from 21 to 30, which is still 10. If you count this, the intervals there, it will give you 10. So then what is the frequency? What is the frequency? What's the frequency? 10. The frequency is 10. Good, awesome. So the frequency is 10. So let's plug in the values. So we have it as what? Q3, which is the upper quartile. Q3, which is the upper quartile. Just watch first. Pay attention and look at the word. L plus Q1 times units divided by the what? Frequency. The frequency. What's the value for L? What is the value for L? You didn't mention the value for L. What's the value for L from the frequency table? Yeah. What's the value for L from the frequency table? The value for L from the frequency table is 30. 30. So we have 30 plus what? Q1, 27.5 times units is 10 divided by the frequency. The frequency is also what? 10. 6.5. So we'll go ahead. We have 30 plus what? This, and this divided by this, you are going to get 2.75. If you go ahead to divide 27.5 divided by 10, what you're going to get 2.75 times 10. You multiply it again by 10. I think you should look up, you multiply it again by 10. So what you're going to have is 30 plus. So this, if you multiply 2.75 times 10 again, you will still go back again to what? 27.5. So if you add 27.5 plus to 30, what you are going to have is 57.5, which is approximately what? 58. It's approximately 58. So you have 58 units. 58 units. So that's all we have for that. So we can come here and say what? Q1, what did we get as Q1? The value of Q1 from the first calculation. The first one, Q1, what did we get as Q1? 12. What did we get as Q1? Okay, 27. 27 units. 27. What did we get as Q2? Q2 is 41. Q3 is 58. So these are the values for the lower quartile, the middle quartile, and then the upper quartile.